Now officially in the holiday stretch of Spotlight Connecticut with our holiday bumper music. That one, I don't usually dedicate bumper songs out to audience members, but we'll send that out to Ron in East Hartford. The Harmony Grits with Santa Claus is coming to town. Back to the old doo-wop days. I'm Morgan Cunningham, and our guest on Spotlight Connecticut is Olga Litvinenko. She is the founder of USA for Ukraine. We've been talking about her background as a Ukrainian, the over 30 trips that she has made over to Ukraine since the physical war with Russia has begun. That was 4 years ago, nearly. And we're here to talk about how her organization, as number one, brought her over to Ukraine, but also number two, how you can take part in helping to deliver aid. Over $1 million raised, I'm seeing on your website, Olga. That's impressive.
I thank you so much. It's over $1 million worth of aid, yes, and that comes from we've partnered with various organizations, and that varies from medical supplies, food supplies, water filtration units, actual physical monetary donations. We've worked with refugees, we've worked with animals, cultural preservation, and children, and different MREs as well. So it's been an interesting time. I never really thought that I would ever find myself sitting down trying to figure out logistics of how to transport uh, tons and tons of supplies from America to Ukraine. I never really thought that I would be working with five incredible animal shelters throughout Ukraine and helping provide food and kennels and to the animals there, and making sure that they're doing all right, and taking over the cost of any sort of medical needs there. I never really thought I'd be distributing food and visiting soldiers and local hospitals and creating a sister city between the town of Greenwich and Izum as well. All of this just kind of started happening because of a huge need in Ukraine for the people and helping them. So it's been a very interesting ride.
Olga, are you saying that when you hop on a plane, you head over to Poland, as you explained earlier, how you get into Ukraine? Are you carrying all of these goods, or do you get them in Europe? Do you get them shipped over? What are the logistics?
Oh, that's a really great question. Well, it really depends on the amount of aid that is being brought over, but for the most part, it's being shipped over. And we've done sea transportation. That's the most cost-effective way to do it. It takes longer to do it that way. It could range from 4 to 6 weeks at an early arrival time. It could be a little bit longer. And we've worked with, it's actually an Eastern European company based out of, they have a warehouse in New Jersey called Meast, and worked with them to ship a bunch of goods. It's difficult to bring it with, with yourself through, right, like holding it in your hands, because you can only carry so much. But when we bought the trash trucks that we delivered to a Zoom, those were transported from Germany. So those were, physically brought over and driven over and then taken across the border. So it depends on what the aid is.
When
And
you
then
go over
also,
there, tell me about the logistics. Once you've gotten into Ukraine, you have the aid, you have the materials with you. Well, then what? How do you know to whom you're bringing it and who receives it? Or do you just show up and it's a free for all? I'd imagine it's not like that at all.
it's not like that at all, because a lot of the aid is already organized in advance, and the delivery is organized in advance. So our largest delivery, the one of the last deliveries that we had, when we had a bunch of medical supplies that were donated, we partnered with several organizations that helped us basically work with the local governments, work with the uh, if local hospitals, local communities, and we've worked with different mayors and government officials, and we talked with the city of Izum because we have a really good relationship, to see if any nearby other cities or towns needed any sort of aid. And you kind of come up with a list of where you need to deliver and who needs what most. And we built these wonderful relationships, and through those relationships, we would distribute. But it worked that way with the animals as well, because when we were starting, we worked with one very big animal shelter just outside of Kiev, and people started reaching out to us actually on Instagram and various social platforms on Facebook, and finding out our emails and going to our website, and actual animal shelters would reach out and say, hey, we need help. Do you have the ability to donate this amount to cover for food? And our response would be either we have it or we don't, or we can get the food donated and figure out how to ship it to the shelter or deliver it to the shelter. So there's so many different points of communication and relationships that you just grow this incredible network of people who are looking for help and people who know where the help is needed, and actually having it delivered to those who are needed.
Our audience at WTIC, historically speaking, has had quite a lineage of supporting efforts like this, missions like yours. You go back to when we were on the air in World War II up until 1956, I believe was the year, and we had the Mile o' Dimes, and we raised over $1 million at that point in time, those dollars in those years, for polio research. In more recent years, over 30 years, we've been part of the Holiday Store with the Salvation Army that's raised over $5 million in today's dollars. So my point, Olga, is that our audience has a long-running history, tradition, if you will, of being charitable. Now, I can't say that we're going to raise $5 million for you in 1 hour on the radio, but my curiosity is this. If there's one thing that you're trying to communicate to our audience now, something that USA for Ukraine, your registered 501c3 organization, needs for your mission, what would it be?
We're really focused on the women and children at this moment. There are so many women and children who are affected, and it's as a result of the long term effects of the war. Their husbands or brothers are going off and fighting this really nasty war and fighting the Russians. Some of them are not coming back home. Some of them are coming back home and they're having difficulties adjusting back. And the women and children are really the ones who are left with a huge responsibility of managing families, of raising children. And the children are deserving to have somewhat of a peaceful environment around them, and the ability to go to school safely, and the ability to be a kid and be happy. So the women and children really need a lot of support. And you actually see a lot of women now taking on roles that they wouldn't have in the past, because the men are out and fighting this really, really crazy war that never should have started. So I encourage all of the listeners to please donate. Go to our projects, USA4UKR.com, and click on Women and Children. Please make a donation specific for the women and children. We have everything from doing holiday gifting and giving them just something to enjoy around the holiday season. We've have a partner in Ukraine who puts on camps in the Carpathian Mountains, and that is a more safe area. It's further away from where all the missile attacks are happening, and it is a wonderful chance for the children to still be within Ukraine, and it's accessible and not too far from home, but away from all of the sound and raids and bombings and everything, and have a little bit of time for peace. So I would really encourage for everybody to help the women and children.
I want our listeners to just realize that you made this very official. This isn't just some bedroom effort that you have. This is a full-blown registered charity and organization. Tell me a little bit about how you actually founded this and walked through the hoopla that is, all the paperwork, the state and the federal government, and all of the things that you have to go through to become official. How did you make this official, Olga?
Well, it started because it was just innate to help out. And Morgan, I'm not sure if the listeners know or not, but I do have a background of being a public persona. I was Miss Connecticut teen when I was 17, and then I was Miss Connecticut when I was 27. And I also was a Miss Ukraine Universe finalist representing the city of Kiev when I was 28. So when the war happened, I think naturally a lot of people turned to me knowing that I had a Ukrainian background, asking how they could help. And so I actually created a Google Doc and then transferred it to a PDF that I would send to people with listed organizations that were more so trusted and where you would know that your money was going in the right hands. And I started a GoFundMe because so many people wanted to donate money and they didn't know where to put it, and whether or not they had the PDF, they just wanted to take my advice. So I started a GoFundMe, and I came together with a few local friends. So I have a co-founder, Dr. Ina Lazar. She's an optometrist she has an office in Greenwich and Darien. And we came together and we started raising money on the GoFundMe page. And that money was actually being used towards the refugee crisis. So I flew to Przemyśl, Poland, and started just on the ground helping wherever I could. And as a volunteer, you can come, you just say that you're a volunteer and they needed help, everything from directing people to the appropriate channels, to putting them on the right bus, to bringing aid. And we partnered with another organization based out of Paris, France, and worked with bringing it was about 200 refugees to France, transporting them, helping the families get into the appropriate homes, and enlisting and enrolling children in schools, and really just focusing on that effort. And after getting involved with that, more people wanted to donate. So we had someone who wanted to be tax compliant and make a serious donation. And we weren't a 50c3, so we searched for a fiscal sponsor, and we got fiscal sponsorship from the Global Empowerment Mission. And the Global Empowerment Mission is just really an incredible organization. They do so much work all over the world, and we worked with them on the ground. And it was some time that we waited to obtain our 501c3. We filed for it, and we got it, and parted ways, and really independently took off and just focused on our smaller projects. Women and children being one of them. We've done cultural preservation as well as sustainability. We focus on the animals, and then we have the sister city with a Zoom. So it was a bit of a ride, but we still worked even when we didn't have 501c3, and that's through the fiscal sponsorship. And those projects that we worked with the Global Empowerment Mission were totally different. They really focused on rebuild at that time, and bringing a lot more of food delivery. So it was a really great experience, and also a learning opportunity to be able to further just our organization as well.
And you've made it since then. You've grown it. Really impressive. USA for UKR.com. We'll continue with Olga Litvinenko in a moment. I just really stress that it's important. You hear a lot of people on the radio who are not legit, or you don't know what their backstory is. Now you know about Olga's. I'm Morgan Cunningham on WTIC News Talk 1080. Again, find out more about USA for Ukraine, USA for UKR.com.